Hi, everyone. I am Jim Gast with Vallejo Networks. I am your speaker today, presenter today. Just give us a moment. We want to make sure we get everybody in that we can. And cool. Couple of quick things. If you had like a recording bot or something like that, that you programmed to join us. Unfortunately, we can't let those in because we can't have our content recorded. Sorry, we just can't. However, I'm going to get this out there in the very beginning. We will have the recording available for you probably next week sometime. But yeah, and any materials that you see, like the presentation, we don't give our presentations out. But I do have a cheat sheet I'm going to show you, and I will share that with you. I'll give you an opportunity to get that from me too. So a couple of quick things while Matthew just lets everybody in. What I want you to know is today is, I'm going to do a lot of really fast talking. I promise you I'm going to talk really, really fast. I'm a very fast-paced talker. I only have a short amount of time, 30 minutes to get a lot of stuff in, and we're already at 29. If you have a question, please do not use the Q&A. Do not use the Q&A. Put it in the chat because we can actually all see the chat and we can all interact with the chat. So please, by all means, put any questions you may have in the chat. The other thing is do me a favor and use either the react button. Use the react button and go ahead and just kind of give me a reaction that you can hear me something. I don't care what it is. I just like to have some interaction to make sure. I thank you, Zachary and Kathleen and Michael. Anybody else, you can give me some reactions. That'd be great. I show Mark is on hold. He can't win out. Brian, thank you very much. Bill, good. Everybody's hearing me fine. I appreciate that. Everybody go ahead and put in the chat, where are you from, what city and state or country, if you will. That's always nice for us to kind of talk about later on. That way I also know that you know where the chat is because it will pop up on everybody's screen, the chat. I appreciate that. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. Again, I am Jim Gast with Vallejo Networks. I happen to be the Director of AI-Powered Business Development here at Vallejo Networks. Today we are presenting Microsoft 365 Copilot for nonprofits, getting started in real examples. Now, I understand that there was some mix-up with some invitation links. So if this is not the webinar that you signed up for, please stay, okay, because it's very useful and very beneficial information. But we also have another general webinar on the 24th that people were signing up for, and I understand some of them got the wrong link. They got the link for today. So we will still have the one on the 24th, and we'll make sure that everybody that was registered for that gets the link. If you were registered for it, but you're here today, again, this is about nonprofits, but these are very similar presentations, very basic. The things I show you today, you can parallel that to whatever organization, industry that you are in. So my apologies for that. And if that did happen to you, please know that we'll get an email out tomorrow with the link for the 24th, just in case there's anybody here. So cool. All right. So I'm going to get started. Why listen to me? Who is this guy, right? Well, again, I'm the Director of AI-Powered Business Development here at Vallejo Networks. I had my own MSP for 30 years called SpliceNet, and it was acquired by Vallejo back in August. Very happy and excited about that. It's been a great transition. Again, I've been doing it for 30 years now. Microsoft 365, cybersecurity, technology consulting, application consulting, and now for the last like 5-6 years, AI. Actually, since 2018 in some form or fashion, I've been working and talking about AI. I work with Microsoft very closely. This is a Microsoft hosted or promoted webinar. They asked me to do this. We have an opportunity to present for them. We submit it and they choose us to do this. I've done this for probably 4 years now, and I'm really excited to do it. So I really enjoy it. We have 50 people in. By the way, Matthew, my number was right. We got 50. We're looking for a few more to join. So 400 and some were registered for today. But that's the way it goes. We really appreciate you guys joining us. I am very basic. Okay. I like to take things very simply, step by step by step. Okay. We always step up when it comes to this. I'm not assuming today that anyone here knows anything about AI, especially Microsoft 365 Copilot. Copilot. So I'm going to make this a 100 series type of session. And I do have, coming up 200 series sessions, and you'll get an invitation for that. I promise you. Now that we got your email, we'll make sure that you get all the invitations for all of our stuff. And you can always unsubscribe. I hope you don't. But anyway, nevertheless, I've helped over 1,000 nonprofits in the last year. I know that seems crazy, but through Microsoft's assistance, we work with us and have us work with them to help nonprofits all the time. We do it all the time. So this is where I live. I understand this. Now we're talking about Microsoft Copilot. Here's the thing. I mean, the fact is that challenges today are just immense, right? We've got to get so much done in so little time. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you agree that there's just never enough time in the day to get it right, to get it all done, and it never stops. A lot of people are like this, right? And by the way, your hand won't go down automatically. You have to put your hand down. But thank you very much, everybody, for participating. And so how do we do that, right? Well, we can hire assistants, okay? And those assistants can help us, but, we have to train those assistants to do things the way we want and the way we'd like. And hopefully they remember it. And if they don't, we have to retrain them. My thing is that I like to think of Microsoft 365 Copilot as that assistant for me. And so if you have an assistant, you think you're going to get rid of that assistant, you're not. You're going to get this assistant. The Microsoft 365 is going to be their assistant, all right? And so you're going to be able to do things much more efficiently on your own. Your assistant's going to be able to do that. People in your nonprofit across the board will be much more efficient by utilizing it. How do you utilize a Microsoft 365 Copilot? It's an AI engine, okay? And I'm going to get to how it works in a second. It's an AI engine, and it's embedded in your Word, your Excel, your PowerPoint, your Outlook. It's got its own program. It's embedded in Teams. It's all over the place in Microsoft 365. Now, what I do want to tell you, okay, is that there are two editions, if you will, generally speaking, of of Copilot, right? That go with Microsoft 365. There is Copilot Chat, okay? And that Microsoft Copilot Chat, oh yeah, by the way, if you have a question, do put them in the chat. I like to have the questions in the chat, and we'll get to them. Microsoft 365 includes Microsoft Copilot Chat. It's free. They don't charge you for it. It's what I liken to a research tool, okay? It can do things for you. It can make documents. It can do other things. But what it doesn't know is your data that you have within your Microsoft 365, your Word documents, your Excel spreadsheets, your PDFs, your graphics, your emails, the meetings, all that stuff that you do that's maintained in Microsoft 365. Copilot Chat does not understand that stuff over there, okay? But it's a very, very useful and powerful tool. Microsoft 365 Copilot, on the other hand, is different. It includes everything that Copilot Chat does, which is free again with Microsoft 365. But Microsoft 365 Copilot, now I'm going to call it Copilot moving forward if I can. All right. So if I say chat, it means that Copilot Chat. If I say Copilot, it means Microsoft 365 Copilot. Microsoft 365 Copilot or Copilot is a paid subscription that gets bundled with your licenses of Microsoft 365. So how do you know you have it? You have to just know that you have it. It has to, your IT department has to buy it for you. Somebody has to get it for you. If you don't know, ask. If you want it, you have to ask. But you got to buy, you got to pay for it on a monthly or annual subscription. All right. But it has the awareness of all of the stuff that you do within your Microsoft 365. So think of it like this, and this is also a security question people ask. Think of Microsoft 365 as this sphere, okay? And in this ball, this great big ball, you've got your email, you got your documents, you got your Teams meetings, you got all this other stuff, that you work with within your Microsoft 365. Okay, the stuff that is stored in OneDrive, SharePoint, and all that stuff is within that Microsoft 365. And your Microsoft 365 Copilot is in here also. And because it's in this secure bubble of Microsoft 365, that is your tenant that is secured from everybody else outside the world, okay, it can read and understand all of your stuff if you have a license for it. All right, so I get a question. I'm a president of an organization, executive director. Can my volunteers see all this information, see Microsoft 365? First, if they don't have a license, no. they can't see Microsoft 365 Copilot. And if they also don't have access to files and stuff like that, then their Microsoft 365 Copilot license won't be able to see that stuff either. So it behaves with the security that I have. So if I can't see it and log in and take a look at it, neither can my Microsoft 365 Copilot. The other question I have is, well, when I do research and I search the web, doesn't that information go out to the web? No, it does not. So Microsoft 365 Copilot, it lives in here. It's your own LLM, if you will, okay? And it builds and learns all about you. And then what it does is when you need stuff from the internet, it goes out to this private browser type of search engine that you can't access and I can't access, okay? It's just for Microsoft 365 Copilot that Microsoft maintains. It's like a private Bing, if you will, or private Google just for that. And it queries that. And it's very, very secure in that it doesn't utilize your information for future queries of other people, right? And so it's very secure. It's enterprise level security. If you can't see it, Copilot can't see it, and your data is secure from everybody else. All right. There's 3 modes with Microsoft 365 Copilot. There's work mode, where it's only researching information, getting answers from your work product. There's internet mode, where it's only pulling information down about the internet, the vast amount of information that private secure search engine that Microsoft keeps for Copilot only. All right. Only. So that is internet mode. And then there's work/internet mode, where you can query the work product and the internet stuff at the same time. Again, no information leaves your Microsoft 365 Copilot, your Microsoft 365 at all. Okay, very, very secure. Put your questions in the questions, and I'm happy to come to them at the end here. Now, what's the value? Well, you're going to automate a lot of routines that your regular thing. I have taken this presentation today. It was done by Microsoft 365 Copilot. My emails that you got from our marketing for this were from Microsoft 365 Copilot. My registration page and the text you see on that and the graphics you see on that, Microsoft 365 Copilot. The follow-up stuff you're going to get, Microsoft 365 Copilot. It used to take me 4 hours to put together a webinar, one webinar, including the PowerPoint and all that stuff and the examples. Now it takes about half an hour, 45 minutes at best, right? And that's only because I'm particular, right? So very, very important, the things that it can do for you. Now, I'm not going to PowerPoint you to death for right now. I want to get into some practical examples for you. All right. Matthew, do we have at least one question I can kind of pop to real quick while I'm switching over?
No questions so far.
All right, guys, I'm looking for those questions. If I don't get questions, I kind of feel like, I'm not doing my job, right? Or I'm not educating enough. So please, I want you to ask your questions, put it in the chat. Now, I've created what's called a cheat sheet, and this is something I can send you, and I'll talk to you about that later on. And so when I do these presentations, I need them to be very repeatable, right? It's a demonstration, so it's very important to me. So I'm going to show you this cheat sheet here, and I'm going to show you, what I'm going to do for you today to give you examples on what you can do. This isn't about teaching you how to use Microsoft Copilot. This is about telling you that there's a lake over there, and that lake has got fish, and if you go throw a line in there with some bait, you'll catch some fish and you'll be able to feed yourself, right? Not teaching you how to fish, right? That's more about giving you the information that you need so you can go do something new for yourself and better. So by doing this, I'm creating prompts, and I'll send this to you if you want. I'll show you how to get that. I'm creating prompts that I'm going to use throughout my demonstration. So the first one is we're going to draft and revise some nonprofit documents. The first one is a grant proposal. And how do I do that? Well, I'm going to open up my Microsoft Word. Give me a second. I'm going to open up a new Word document. Yeah, we'll definitely get this to you. No problem. Okay, and I'm opening up a new Word document. Now, before I go any further, I want to dissect where Copilot is in Word because it's very similar in all the other applications. As you can see here, there's a prompt here. What do you want Copilot to draft up here at the top? You can see up here in the top right, there is a Copilot button that I can click on, and I can open up a panel. And you can see also within the document in a moment, when I put some information in there, that I can do prompting within the document. By the way, prompting is just another way of saying asking Copilot questions or having it do something for me. Now, what I want to differentiate is this panel on the right-hand side versus anywhere else. The panels on the right-hand side are generally more of, I want to know something about. I want to do some research. Tell me about this document. What else should I consider for this document? Generally speaking, this panel is not to do something in the document. That's critical to realize, okay? So when you see the panel, generally these panels are not to do something within, okay? Can I do a lot of stuff over here? Yeah, we can do a lot. Is everybody seeing my screen, by the way? Great, clap if you're seeing my screen. Microsoft Word. Okay, good, cool. Okay, so what I'm going to say here is, in addition to that, the work and web buttons up here, okay, are one way you can tell where your data is going to come from. So if I'm on work and I type a question in here, it's going to look to my work product, my emails, my documents, my meetings, and so on and so forth. If I click on internet, all that stuff is off limits to my question, okay? It's still secure, you don't have to worry about that, but all that stuff is off limits to the answer to my question. Don't use any of my work product. If I want to use the internet and my work product, I am in work mode, and then I tell it I also want to use my responses should have also considered web searching too in it, and that's a toggle button right here, okay? Now, I'm not going to use the panel for this. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste that prompt right in here. Oops. Now it's gone, of course. But I'll paste it right in here, okay? Sorry. You see that button right there I told you about? That would appear. It's right there. I'm going to paste my prompt right there. Draft a grant proposal for a new community initiative based on a sample document, based on a fake document, okay? All right, and use professional, and I have to say fake because I don't have that data, right? And so it's going to come up with, once I say go, it's going to come up with that document in a matter of maybe 10, 15 seconds or so. Notice it's already kind of formatting it, putting it together, making it look really, really clean. It's a really cool way to do it, and I don't care what it says right now. I'm just showing you an example. And so I'm going to let it finish up. Now we're at 2 pages on it. Look, we're going into the 3rd page of a document. Okay, from here I can keep it, I can do it again, I can kill it, or I can say revise it more. For right now, for this demonstration, I'm going to say keep it. Doesn't matter what it says, guys. I don't care right now. It's more, there's a fish over there. Look, there's a fish over, you know what I mean? So I'm going to show you now how to revise that. And so I'm going to say tighten and improvise. And so here's my prompt for tightening and improvising this document. All right, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to select it all, or I could select a section as well, okay, if I wanted to. But I'm going to select the whole document because I want to work on the whole document here. Get off. I want to go away. Go away. I want to work on the whole document because I don't really like how it turned out. And I'm going to come up here and paste and say revise this grant proposal to be more concise and compelling, remove redundant language, and strengthen it for case funding. And so there it goes, right? I could have done that in the revised section before I kept it, but I like to see things on the screen. And so now it's going through, making it more concise, looking more like we're trying to entice them to fund us for this, right? That's what we're trying to do for this document. So think of this. I know there's a grant. Maybe you do volunteer, maybe you do event management, maybe you do handbook and HR, and so on. If you want to make a handbook, these things make great handbooks, right? So as it does that, look at that. It is done already, making that shorter. Now it made well, it didn't make it shorter, but it made it more. I didn't say, I said keep it rather than replace it. And so this is the part that it made now, and that's 2 pages, whereas before the original had 3 pages, right? And so let's go ahead and get rid of that part, and we'll keep the other section. And so now I'm going to say, now I want to change the tone, or maybe change the audience. Rewrite this section to make it clearer for a board member unfamiliar with the project, right? Make it specific to fundraising campaigns. So, you know what? Maybe I just don't think that this is appropriate enough for a board member to comprehend. I don't know. And I paste that into the prompt here. And then go. Notice every time I'm clicking that little pencil button, it's like a magic pencil or something like that. And so what it will do is it will revise that, make it so it's more clear for an executive director or board members. And I'm going to say keep it or replace it. I'm going to replace that paragraph. And now that paragraph is part of my document. So you can see how I can work with Microsoft 365 Copilot to kind of build some things out. Now, I'm going to say summarize key programming goals and supporting data in this document and summarize it in the bullet point. Okay. I'm going to come down here and I want to say, actually, let's put it into a break. All right. And I'm going to say now I want it also to just have a summary section. All right, just real quick summary, and I would call that maybe an executive summary page or something like that, a takeaway. But I didn't title it, so it didn't know what to do. But there it is right there, and keep it. So it read through that document, made this document, read through the document, edited this document, made it appropriate for my audience, made it more targeting for what I was trying to do, and then even did a summary at the end. Now, here's what I'm going to say. I don't trust this, and you should not either. Okay, what you should be doing is reading over anything that Microsoft 365 Copilot or any other AI engine is giving you. That is essential to make sure that you're utilizing the information and it's yours and you know it and it's true. So don't take it verbatim. That is critical. All right. Now we're going to move into summarizing nonprofit. I'm going to some materials that we already have. Okay, and so I'm going to summarize this board meeting transcript, right? I don't have a transcript, but I'm going to summarize another document, if you will. Okay, and by doing that, I'm opening up a new one. Now I can do this other places, but I'm going to do a /. Okay, or I could use the plus sign there instead, and I'm going to say summarize this for me. Okay, this document. So that's how you reference something else. You put a / or you use the plus sign, and it's going to go through and summarize that too. Since I'm running short, I want to keep moving forward. All right. Here's another example. I think it's kind of similar. This was actually I kind of stepped over my demo. So I said summarize this prior document. Okay, or some document I got from somebody else in an email or a PDF. All right, that's one thing you can do. Now, another thing you can do is say, I want to summarize a meeting, okay? A meeting. Summarize a funding meeting, okay, into this. And I'm going to say, which meeting? I'm going to pick this meeting here. It doesn't matter which one it is. Let's go ahead and just pick this one right here. I don't know what it is, but now I'm summarizing a meeting into some notes and metrics and stuff like that for our stakeholders. Doesn't matter what's in this meeting, okay? As for my example, I'm trying to just show you that you can now take even meetings that you've had and get it to summarize it for you. So you see how that worked? It did it for you. Very, very powerful. You can also do this in emails and other places. Finally, email communications. I mean, who is inundated with emails? It's really ridiculous. So let's leave Microsoft Word and let's go into Outlook. All right, so how many emails? You're just tired of the long thread of all these emails, right? And so why not have it summarize the thread of these emails for you? And so here I have a selected email right here, okay? And it's a long one, as you can probably tell. Doesn't matter what it is. Again, for my demonstration, I'm going to tell you, email this, summarize this, selected. I'm going to say selected, actually. That's a little bit more verbose. You got to be careful. And so it'll come through and go through, read through this entire summary to make sure to kind of pull out salient points, open questions, and next actions for this email, right? Again, doesn't matter what it's coming up with, but it's summarizing this. I could do this in a new email if I wanted to. So I'm going to stop that, come back in, okay? And I'm going to say, you know what? Okay, thank you. Now I need to reply to this email. Now, I don't want to reply to it within the Copilot pane, okay? That's an about. I want to do it within the email. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use this little button right here, Open Copilot, okay? And it'll bring it up, but this is a contextual Copilot. I'm going to say, draft a professional response with certain actions and so on and so forth. And it's going to do it. Now, I don't know if it's going to put it back in the email. It usually does put it right back in the email. But the versions, they update versions so often. So, I can't really tell. So it's going to actually do that. Another way to do this, by the way, is I can open up this email and in my buttons here, there is a button for Copilot. Where is it at? There's a Copilot button. Here we go. This one right here in the actual email. So draft would do the same thing. So if I want to draft it within the email, than it would be doing it within the email. Now this one's over here is taking too long. It kind of stopped, but it's thinking about how it's going through, reading it and putting together an appropriate response. Okay. And I don't know what the donor inquiry, I might be my prompt. I might use a weird prompt. Okay. So I stopped it, but it will summarize really well an email. Now, are you going to send it that way? No, for heavens, no. Make it yours. Make sure that you own it. Now, because I'm short on time, I got 5 minutes left. This is another prompt that you could do. You could use this prompt anywhere you want. Like in Microsoft Teams, I use prompts all the time because Copilot is tied into Microsoft Teams. As I bring that over here, you can see my Copilot button in my Teams. And in here, I can tell it, again, look at my work product, not the web, because my email's not in the web. I thought I copied it. Copy this, paste it in there. Okay, summarize my emails. Tell me what's important. Tell me what's not important. A lot you can do here, okay? A lot you can do here. So it's going to go through my emails, look at all my emails, and tell me what's, look at it from yesterday, search phrases, focused. I put these things in my prompt, so I want it to be really verbose. No emails for yesterday found in focus. Well, that's weird, okay? So, but what it did find is this, all right? And so maybe I didn't prompt it right. But again, it's just, it's not infallible. Okay. It's probably thinking about something for donations or something like that since I'm on this track right now. But I could clear its mind and start over from scratch if I want to. Now, finally, I want to show you how to summarize meetings because this is powerful. I'm recording this meeting, and at the end of this meeting, I can do a summary of it. Well, I've got some meeting examples that I will use to show you how you can summarize these meetings. So I record my meetings. Let's see here. Let's open up this one. Okay, view recap. And because I recorded it and transcribed it, I can come over here and say, Microsoft Copilot, please, this is a Teams meeting. So you see all these places that it's at. I can say, summarize the meeting, key decisions, action items, and responsible parties. It's going to go through the transcript. And because it's going through the transcript, it's going to be a lot more accurate, generally speaking, than if you're just doing research, right? And so this is the conversation I had with Ian about X, Y, and Z. Again, it doesn't matter what it is, but there we go. There's a meeting summary. Now what I can do, in addition to that, back to my prompt document, is turn this meeting into a transcript, clean, organized, with notes I can share with the team. Well, where would I do something like that? Probably in Microsoft Word. And so I'm going to pop over into Word again. Let me open it up. Let me open up a new Word. Hold on. I told you guys I'd talk fast. I'm going to say this meeting right here. And what meeting does that mean? This meeting right here. Again, I don't care what meeting it is. Let's go ahead and just pick, this meeting, this Copilot demo, right? And so transcript into clean, organized notes so I can share with the team. And this was another demonstration I did. So it'll take this and it'll organize it now. How valuable is this? Well, after you have a meeting and you want to summarize the meeting to people, this is a great way to get that out there. You can do the same thing directly in an email and summarize the entire thing in an email and send it to everybody. Make sure they're all on the same page. And so there we go. Nice descriptive summary of that meeting. Now I'm going to go back, because those are the samples. I told you I go through them fast. That's why we give you the recording. Okay. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint real quick and just kind of show you a couple real quick things here. And here we are. So again, we're gonna start with a blank canvas. With Copilot, it takes that blank canvas is all it does and turns it in from nothing to into something. Yes, in my opinion, it takes away the creativeness, but allows you to get down to, yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you, Stacy, in a minute how to get that. Thank you for prompting for that question. Stacy wants to get my document that I used. I can get this to you guys, and I'll tell you how to get it. It will help you. Where was I saying? What was I saying here? It's going to start with that blank canvas and turn that blank canvas into something that's going to save you time. By the way, you can programmatically create agents with this that are not programming, no code programming. You can just tell it like chatting what you want to do, or you can ask it, how do I tell you what I want to do? And you can make an agent, like I made an agent to tell, so that when Matthew does summaries for me, they're in my voice, if you will, the way I like to do summaries, not the way he likes to do summaries, but the way I like to do. So it says, I want a summary based on Jim. I have an agent that all he has to do is say, summarize this, and it does it the way I would express it. I guarantee you it's going to save your team time. Okay. You can see some of these things, but here's the thing. it is an AI, and I caution everybody to be careful with AIs and implementing themselves, all right? What I would recommend is this. Start with the simple stuff, okay? How do I do a document? How do I research? How do I, just asking questions. Try not to do too many work product things in the beginning. Just asking questions, getting it used to you. And if you wanted to remember something about you, like for me, when I do marketing, I want to do marketing in the story brand theme framework, okay? It's a certain marketing framework that I use. So I tell it, whenever you do marketing materials for me, I want it in a story brand framework. Remember this. That's the key. And it will put that in memory. So whenever I'm doing marketing things and I'm asking Copilot about it, it follows that framework every time. Remember, I like to be professional. I like to be funny, those kinds of things. But start from the bottom and work yourself up. Don't try to do super complex things. How do I merge documents and chronological? Let's just crawl before we walk, okay? And walk before we run. All right, because if we start to crawl and then we start running, we're going to fall down and smash our face. The other thing I recommend is don't try to figure it out on your own. As I said before, it has access to all of your Microsoft 365 stuff. So if you are breached and cybersecurity hackers, so I'm 401. If you have to leave, I understand. So cybersecurity hackers, I understand that, if they break in, they have Copilot, they can use Copilot on your behalf. So they have a lot more access to things now if they hack you than they ever had before, all right? And so it's important that it is implemented properly. So I'd also suggest that you get what we call our roadmap and do an assessment. I have an online assessment. I'm going to give you a link to it here right now, okay? But I recommend these things because it's at least information to read over. Here's the link for it. All right, that is the link for the assessment. That's not that cheat sheet, that cheat sheet that I showed you. The assessment is a scoring thing. It asks you some relevant questions and brings you down to, okay, here's how ready you are. It's a scoring system. All right, very easy to use. The roadmap, to get the roadmap, you can do the assessment and then I'll email you. I'll email you a link for the roadmap as well. It is something that you use. It's a nice roadmap that you can use. If you want the cheat sheet or you have any questions or anything, that's my email address right there, jim@valeonetworks.com, and my direct dial telephone number. I'd recommend emailing me because you never know what somebody's doing when you just pick up the phone and call them out of clear blue sky. So if you have any questions or want me to do this demonstration for your organization, which I do, no cost, right? I'm happy to do it. Just shoot me an email, jim@valeonetworks.com. But I implore you, go to that QR code or use the link, do a screenshot of this right now with your phone or whatever. Go to the assessment, take the assessment. It's worth seeing where you're at from a readiness perspective. Now, what I'll do is answer questions if there are questions. My suggestion is if you have to go, I don't blame you. I completely understand. If you want to stay for the questions, you are more than welcome. Okay. I love it when people hang out, but if you got to go, I get that. All right. All right. As I look through the questions, I see since most are probably nonprofits using AI, Let's Connect. Okay. So yeah, we got a lot of people putting in LinkedIn's. Cool. No problem. All right, Carl, I hope you got to see what I was showing. I have to reconcile our agency credit card statement every month while charges occur. I record them in an Excel spreadsheet. You can do what you're looking to do in Excel. And programmatically, so that all you have to do is use an agent and attach your spreadsheet, and it can do it for you. That's a little advanced, okay? You can start there, but I would start to use a Copilot within Excel to start analyzing. But it works great, and you can do what you're looking to do in Copilot in Excel. All right. Wondering about Copilot's utility and creation of standard operating procedures? Yes, absolutely. You give it some framework, you give it some documentation, and it will help you build those standard operating procedures. Plus, it can pull information from the internet if you want it to help you build those handbooks, standard operating procedures. These are awesome ways to use Microsoft 365 Copilot. Okay, have Copilot chat option top right side, but don't see how to do prompts within the actual Word document. Again, it's not the same tool. If you don't have the prompt at the top or the little pencil with the square or look like a magic pencil, you probably don't have Microsoft 365 Copilot. You probably have to do it in the pane, and then it'll create a Word document with this. It'll copy and paste it over into Word. Again, it's a limited version of Microsoft Copilot. It's called Chat. Can you try to disable Copilot pop-ups in an email? I don't have time for that, but that is possible. If it depends on what you mean by a pop-up. Okay, I don't completely understand what that is. Send me an email. We'll talk about that, and that's up there. Also, will there be a recording and demo available? Yep, absolutely. I'll send this out to you next week. You can share it with your teams. And again, if you want me to do this for your organization, I do a much slower one for organizations. So you just send me an email and tell me you want a demo for your organization. Send prompt script. Yeah, here's how you get the prompt script. If you want that, email me. I will send you that prompt script. I just don't send that stuff out in mass. You have to ask it from me by email, and I will respond with it to you, or Matthew will with it. Okay, he'll send you that prompt document. Yep, that is the self-assessment. So thank you, Mitchell. Appreciate that. First class thanks. I'm glad, Michael. Hey, yeah, I remember you, Michael. Nice talking to you. Thanks a lot, Stacy. I appreciate that. Is there a nonprofit cost? Yeah, there's discounts. Thank you very much. There are discounts for nonprofits. If you want to know more about those, that's an easy search on Microsoft's site. But there are definitely, if you need to get those, let me know and I'll help you get those. Trying to gather all emails in my inbox for a certain program, but it shows that it doesn't have access to emails. That is probably because you don't have Microsoft 365 Copilot. You have Microsoft Chat, Microsoft Copilot Chat, which is different. Again, Chat, Microsoft Copilot Chat does not understand your data, your emails, your documents, and stuff like that. That could be one possible cause. Michael says, if I something like remember, never like summaries, does that span across all the apps? Yes, it does. So if you say in Copilot, I don't like summaries, or I don't like summaries in spreadsheets, okay, it's going to remember that. So you have to be specific, okay? But it is throughout that ecosystem. Microsoft Copilot's just like, it's all over your Microsoft 365. Mitchell, do you think that I could have Copilot within Excel pull information from master spreadsheet, credit card transaction, and post the transactions into separate workbooks? I know that it can do it in separate sheets. I don't know if it can do it in separate workbooks, okay? But if it could do it in separate sheets, it certainly could get you part of the way there. I bet it could do workbooks as well, okay? So thanks for that question. Stacy asked, so basic version doesn't allow me to use Copilot on Word and Excel. It does, but very limited, okay? So you're probably going to have to use that panel on the right-hand side, say, make me in this document, and then copy and paste it into Word. So it'll do things, but it's not as full featured. And again, they may have changed chat so that you can do it within it. I just don't know. Chat is limited in what it can do. All right. What version could use Copilot? Yeah, that is specifically the product that is called Microsoft 365 Copilot. There is a business edition. Microsoft 365 Copilot Business, I think, is the other one for the business version of licenses, or the enterprise licenses. There's two different licenses. So if you need help picking finding licenses, shoot me an email at Jim@Vallejo Networks. All right. Any other questions that I haven't answered? I saw a bunch of things here. I don't see any other questions. All right, if this was helpful, if you learned something new, give me an applause, if you will. Boost my ego anyway, just to get them, right? And I really appreciate you attending today. But if you want to kind of hang out, I know the dance floor is sometimes a place where people get nervous. They don't want to be the only one on the dance floor. So if you want to take off, you're more than welcome to take off now. We'll send you the recording link by email. But if you want to hang out for more questions, you're welcome to hang out. I'll stay for the next couple of minutes in case somebody wants to put some more questions in there. Otherwise, thanks everybody for attending. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rick. If there's any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Sometimes, people get shy, but, thank you very much, Carl. And if you're sleeping, you can wake up now. We're done. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, everyone. All right, no more questions? All right, we're going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much. And again, if you want to attend the one on the 24th, shoot me an email at jim@vallejonetworks.com, and I'll get you signed up for that one too. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.